Opa, saudaciones, saudaciones, como vão? Eu vou só ajustar o volume do jogo em relação à minha voz antes que eu me esqueça. Saudação, Anísio, como vai? Anísio Sales. Eu sei que é Anísio Salles, mas hoje é dia de ler in English. In English. Então hoje você é Anísio Sales. Deixa eu só terminar de responder aqui. Pronto. Deixar meu celular no ocupado, senão ele vai ficar vibrando. Anísio Vendas? Não pode ser. Se você virar e disser alguma coisa do gênero, é o que meu pai sempre quis, que eu fosse vendedor, aí teremos uma lore. Bom, hoje nós vamos ler a rota da Troll Therese. E eu vou tentar ler a rota do próximo Troll. Saudações, Vimon! Como vai você? Tudo bom? Vimon Plays! Certo. Eu vou começar então. Espero que meu volume esteja bom. Espero que não esteja com nenhum ruído também. Eu vou só tirar o pop filter da minha frente enquanto eu estiver lendo, que é melhor, né? Ah, eu tô mais ou menos, mas eu tô indo. Vamos lá. It's a cool, breezy evening. Violet leaves crunch under your feet as you stroll casually through a dense and inviting forest. Not an environment you're used to on this planet, that's for sure. You should be lapping up this serenity like a thirsty dog at a Zen fountain. Instead, you're brooding. So many new friends, all of them a special breed of sad. You don't like seeing sad people, so you've done everything in your power to fix them. Slumber party, matchmaking, throwing a giant spider into a volcano. The smiles your new friends greet you with are all the proof you need that you've been doing good work. Salutations, Mateus! I am more or less. Thank you. It's that kind of a day, you know? That kind of a week, that kind of an existence. Life's hard sometimes. And yet, you can't help but wonder how much of a difference any of this really makes. Especially on Alternia, you've gathered that even if one of these kids avoids being murdered by an insectoid eugenics robot, they will just wind up conscripted into a lifetime of military service under a colonial empire. That's not good. Which makes it really hard to believe that inducing a few bouts of revelatory catharsis will ultimately amount to much. It's a depressing thought, and you're not entirely sure what to do with it. Which is why you came out here. Nothing better for the soul than a nature hike, right? Maybe after a nice long walk, you'll come out right as... Hey, is that a tree house? Oh my, oh my. Ouch. Ouch is right, criminal. She's here. Great, more shenanigans. You won't lie and say the prospect of making friends with a spooky shark in glaring red shades isn't appealing, but criminal doesn't leave a great taste in your mouth. When you try to move, well, you don't, because you're tied to a chair. Strike 2 on the bad taste scorecard. Probably shouldn't stick around for strike 3. Thank you, Vimon. Thank you very much. You're so kind. In a moment of uncharacteristic self-preservation, you close your eyes and attempt to zap away. But you can't. Your head hurts and your vision is still kinda hazy, which might imply brain damage on account of your surprise swinging. With your luck, that probably means your superpowers are permanently broken. Typical. Fala, Toshi. Eu vou indo, e você? Looking up at your captor again, you can't help thinking the specs are a bit extra. What kind of loser wears big angular sunglasses like that anyway? You'd certainly be one to judge if you had the legal authority to do so. A fashionable dress like that with blood as delicious red as yours? The hypocrisy on you stinks like a fragrant pus. Gross. Geez, what's up with these aliens and their hang-ups about blood? Obrigada, Blaze, pelo seu lurk. Seja bem-vindo também. Risada. Hahaha. Contexto. Eu gravei hoje pro Carlos as falas da Mai e da Maki, do churrasco do Sukuna, porque elas são pra sábado, então eu precisava gravar rápido. E eu tive que gravar, eu gravei 8 risadas pra cada uma delas, então eu tô, por aqui de dar risada hoje. Hang-ups. Gallows humor is an admirable quality, but such crowd-pleasing theatrics will not spare you from the full weight of the law. Therese Cheinha é a minha nova religião. A bizarre tableau unfolds before you. Maki rindo, tá aí uma coisa que vai ser interessante. Ainda mais essa Maki, porque essa Maki não é qualquer Maki. Stuffed dragons in benches beat angry monster, empty news dangling next to a window. Looks like you've just wandered into a courtroom drama. Much to your relief, your kidnapper isn't a shark, and you have to admit, the glasses do come together in the ensemble. But is instead a short, stocky throw girl in a short-sleeved turtleneck and a pair of garish red Crocs. Nossa, é verdade, né? A Therese desse jogo, ela usa um negocinho de gola. Eu nunca imaginaria ela usando gola, não sei porquê. Acho que isso é mais a cara do Carcat. E do Cancre. Se entrar numa armadilha mortífera, posso dizer que é máquina mortífera. Porra. Pode sim. Mas a Maki seria mortífera mesmo. The fashion on this one is staggering. Especially with the... Is that a sword cane with a dragon's head? It is, because I'm blind and cool. I'm kind of like tough. But make no mistake, I don't need eyes to smell how guilty you taste. Wow, is every sentence that tumbles out of this troll's mouth going to be weird and uncomfortable? Yes. But enough from you, cherry cheeks. His honorable tyranny will only tolerate so much banter before holding you in contempt. You might be developing some contempt yourself, if you're being honest. Well, unless you want to be squeezed until your organs burst from your eyes, you will can the back talk and let the prosecution get to work. Is that what being held in contempt means? Fine. You guess you'll be polite and stop interrupting. Como ela é mais jovem, pensei que ela se chamaria Dorose. É verdade. Não tenho argumentos para argumentar contra. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Right. Now that we have the preamble out of the way, there's a ding from her computer, and her posture immediately switches from confident to frustrated. Hold on. She strides over to her husk top, tapping the gleaming edge of her cane in front of her as she goes. You wonder what kind of miraculous accessibility contraptions exist on this planet that a blind person can just use. Is she licking the monitor? Yes, she's licking her filthy fucking computer monitor. Just slathering it up with her teal-tinted saliva, going at it like a husband greeting his war wife after 20 years at sea. Então, a Therese, no Homestuck, ela também lê desse jeito aí. Todas as vezes que a Therese tava num MSN da vida, conversando com alguém, é assim que ela fazia pra ler o diálogo, pra ela poder responder. E o fato do texto tá dizendo que a saliva dela é da cor do sangue dela, isso me deixa muito confusa, porque a nossa saliva não é da cor do nosso sangue. Imagina se fosse. Não sei por que a Therese me lembra um pouco uma versão mais calma da Min do Sopa de Borboleta. Ela tem o estilinho Gremlin. O estilinho Gremlin, eu posso colocar as duas dentro do diagrama de Venn na parte do estilinho Gremlin. Elas têm a mesma energia de Gremlin. Fala, Rica, como vais? Boa noite, seja bem-vindo. Why? Sorry, give me a second. No problem, you say. Not like you're going anywhere. Haha. Okay, she's distracted. Now would be a great time to go somewhere. Your powers still seem to be on the fritz, but you think the weight of your incredible ass might shatter this chair if you could get some leverage. Wait it out, get some leverage. I'm gonna do different today, and I'm gonna go with this one first. I'm gonna get some leverage, because I don't know. Comendo mingau de aveia, nham nham. Eu acabei de jantar. Fique à vontade. Se a sua saliva tá na mesma cor do seu sangue, posso garantir que algo está errado, jovem. Busca um médico. Pois é. Ou você é um troll, ou você tá muito fodido. Não, pera. São sinônimos. You lean forward onto your feet. Take a deep breath, and then hop backwards as hard as you can. It worked. You scramble up out of the broken chair as your captor turns towards you. What the fuck? You try to run, but the rope still around your legs has other plans as you trip, try to catch your weight, fail, and just sort of let the momentum of your vaudevillian tempo carry you across the room. You slam into your captor and send both of you flying out the window. Oh, this is way higher up than you thought. You grab onto her and pray for dear life. Hey, you're not falling. That's a relief. You congratulate your agile friend on her quick reflexes in grabbing hold of... Oh no. You've heard of hung jury, but this is ridiculous. The prosecution rests in peace. Oh my! I didn't think this could happen. Okay, this is worrying. This is very worrying. Oh my, this was like the worst ending of all. This was like the worst ending of all. Fuck. my. Talk about oh, this is so... Oh my. That was strong, right? That was very strong. Cuspir líquido vermelho na saliva. Sangrar líquido transparente como sangue. Ambos os líquidos serem amarelos e salgados. Caralho, que creepy. Pesou... Não, nossa! Eu já tava ficando preocupada com essa cordinha aqui do lado. Pensando assim, nossa, será que a Twitch vai me tirar do ar por causa disso? Ah, não deve tirar do ar, porque é um jogo... Meu Deus. Sabe, tipo, quando apareceu a cena, eu fiquei, gente... You decide it's best to wait this out. The sword and news are a bit worrying, but with the plush toys and chalk drawings, it strikes you that this is probably the closest thing Alternia has to a tea party. Which would be adorable if it weren't so depressing. Playing along seems like a prime friend-making activity. Besides, who ever got hurt in a court of law? A Therese tava lendo a tela do computador, mas ela é cega, então ela usa o paladar dela. É, Matheus, você resumiu muito bem Homestuck agora, em apenas um balãozinho. After a few brusque keystrokes, she strolls back to her place in the center of the room. Not a word and half a sweep, and now she won't shut up. You ask who she was talking to. Just some dumb angry girl who needs to leave me alone until the heat death of the universe. Who even cares anyway? Not me, that's who. Where were we? Crimes? Crimes! You're here today to face the highest justice under my authority as Premier League affiliated legislator in training of His Honorable Tyranny's Court. And it is with sad authority that I accuse you of that most grievous of crimes against the empire of Her Imperious Condescension. Uh-oh. What crime would that possibly be? Breaking and entering? Doping with a clown? You guess she could technically nail you down as an accomplice to murder, but... The crime of... existing! What? You're waiting for the other shoe to drop. But the damn thing just seems to be stuck up there. What did she say about being in training? You're beginning to wonder if this, what did she call it? Solicitor? Prosecutioner? Public therapist? That was not even remotely near what she said, but okay. You're beginning to wonder if this murder lawyer actually knows what the hell she's talking about. Oh. You think I'm making this up? Do I really look like the kind of girl who would randomly commit unprompted and unjustified murder on a whim? Look, you've met some weird fucking trolls on this planet, and they all seem to have a pretty laissez-faire attitude about murder, so... No, you know what? Fine. If you're gonna be pedantic, snot-tubbled little wiggler about it, I'll just recite the whole fucking law verbatim. Article 5, subsection 11, paragraph 68 of the second new Code of Alternian Jurisprudence describes your crime as jurispenance, not jurisprudence. Being, having been, or possessing the capacity to be in need of material resource consumption for the purposes of curtailing biological expiry, existing in, of, around, or through imperial territory, as one of unclassifiable sanguination, mutant, one of extrasolar origination, alien, or one who plans to commit, has committed, or may possess the capacity to commit high crimes and fish demeanors against her imperial condescension, criminal. They're happy now. Dang, this girl really knows her stuff. Of course I do. I'm not some fly-by lunar psycho troll slaughter consultant. I'm a fucking professional. Clearly, how could you question her expertise on the subject of what is and is not technically a crime when there's so many bucks piled up haphazardly? You definitely are existent as an alien after all, and you guess that does by definition make you a criminal. And for the look of that news, you doubt the punishment is something as quaint as being thrown in the slammer. So there's an appeal process, or... She springs forward with surprisingly agility and presses her face right up against yours, sniffing you with alarming enthusiasm. Your game of candied apple ignorance may convince the pan-scrambled clown fuckers in the cheap seats. But I smell the deception dripping off you like a delicious marmalade. You'll have to do better than this if you really want to. She sniffs. 1, 2... She sniffs again. Did Kanaya make this dress? Oh look, an out! Yeah, you say. You and her are great friends. The best. In fact, you think she should message Kanaya right now to clear all this up. You know, like a character witness. I've witnessed your character plenty, and it's as bland as they come. That's certainly not the worst contemplative noise you've ever heard. I may have misjudged you. If you tell anyone I said that, I'm going to cut off your arms and use them to finger paint bulges on your face until you bleed to death. You decide that keeping this pointlessly mundane secret is definitely in your best interest. So, does this mean you're free to go? Not so fast. May have implies possibility, not certainty. Maybe Kanaya gave you this dress because she likes you? Or maybe you pressured her into it circumstantially. Maybe you're a delightfully clueless and well-intentioned interloper from beyond the stars. Or maybe you were sent here as a sleeper agent to learn all our weaknesses so that the entities controlling you can sabotage our future. In cases such as these, I find the best course of action is to leave the verdict up to chance. She produces a double-headed coin with one side scratched out, and you immediately know exactly where this is going. The terms are simple. Heads, and I release you from your bonds. Tails, and I release you from being alive. Is she really about to take you out like a gangster who just betrayed their duality-themed mob boss? Before you can request a last Saturday morning curtain solution, she flips the coin into the air. Well, this is bad. It's bad, and it kind of makes you angry. This doesn't make sense. You didn't do anything. But here you are, with a 50-50 chance of getting immersed by a jovial gremlin anyway. I'm not the only one who thinks she's a gremlin. Does she think this is normal? Your head has cleared enough that you could zap away if you really tried, but something about this murder lawyer is stuck in your craw. Her devotion to justice is obvious, but it's a twisted and brutal justice, streamlined for violence and painfully efficient in enabling exactly that, if this mock trial is anything to go by. This is the same system that requires insectoid eugenics robots to keep the peace, after all. There's so much wrong here, and she doesn't even see it. She's blind, yo. Like, metaphorically see it. Okay, I'll let it pass. The coin is falling. Every rotation brings you closer to a fate that, regardless of outcome, wouldn't be fair. You decide to think about what should be fair. Just like that, you're standing next to her. With a scream, you snatch her coin out of the air and hurl it full force through the window. My coin! Sorry, you shout, but she can't expect you to just accept the whims of chance when your life is on the line. Why not? Because that sucks! It's lame and dumb and really cliché. What is she, a comic book villain? Am I supposed to know what that is? You don't know. Troll culture seems to have a lot of really arbitrary similarities to human culture, and it's honestly very confusing. But that's besides the point. With a broad sweep of your arm, you gesture at her, drawing of the honorary Tyrannosaurus or whatever, and ask what he would think of your little stunt just now. The trial isn't for him. We act like it is, but everyone knows he's just a big hungry monster. Huh? Then who? It's for the audience, obviously. By the time you make it to the stand, you're basically dead already. Don't the accused get a chance to defend themselves? Defend? Only the outrageously guilty would even think to defend themselves in a court of law. Well, that's fucked up. What's the point of even having a trial then? Besides the sheer pleasure of watching all the hope slowly drain from someone's eyes as they confront their imminently approaching and inevitably gruesome execution? Yeah, besides that. It's a warning to the seditious of what happens when they cross the line. And the line is, existing? Yep. The nonchalance of her answer underlines just how upsetting all of this really is. You remember the law she recited, and one part in particular sticks out to you. Unclassifiable sanguination. Didn't Karkat try to commiserate with you about having mutant blood or something? You know Karkat too? I kept waiting for him to fuss about team leaders, but now he won't shut up about this thing he calls a Dave. Everyone was so worked up about the game, and now they're just over it suddenly. Yeah, that's your fault. Karkat would probably have a nuclear conniption if he knew you were about to say this, but you ask her if she's aware of his blood color. Of course I'm aware of it. What do you think I am, blind? Yes. Karkat's a mutant, right? If you remember correctly, that makes him guilty of the same crime you are. Her expression turns sour, and you can tell this is something she spent a lot of time trying not to think about. You figure she avoided summarily executing you because you're friends with her friends, so she would probably avoid killing Karkat as well. And that's a good thing. Great, in fact. You cannot stress enough how awesome that is. I'm gonna be alive, that's for sure. But doesn't that strike her as a bit hypocritical? Making exceptions for her friends? Isn't that politics? Quem nasceu cego tem como ter noção das cores? Como assim? Does she think that everyone else who dies at court or gets killed in their own hives deserves what they get, just because she doesn't know them personally? She's not gonna be a good lawyer, that's for sure. It doesn't matter what I think. This is just how things are. It sucks, but it would suck a lot worse to be killed for saying so. And then who would protect Karkat? Who would protect... I can't help everyone, cheery cheeks. I can barely help my friends. Maybe, if I stick it to it long enough, I can change things from the inside. From the inside. That's the best any of us can hope for. You guess that doesn't sound like the worst plan. In fact, it kind of reminds you of who? You feel a sadness well up in your heart so fast and heavy that it knocks you over into her, and without meaning to you. Zap! Your vision is swimming. Voices echo in your head. But you can't pick any of them out. You look around and something is watching you. Not maliciously, not yet. Just observing from a curious distance. Not that you can do anything about it while you're clutching your head and trying to put your memories together. You've been circling around this awful familiar feeling ever since you left Earth. Drawn towards it like a singularity, but the closer you get, the lesser it makes sense. What the fuck just happened? Did you kill me just now? Is this troll hell? Troll hell? Do trolls not have an actual name for... Wait, she's here too? Here seems like an ambitious description. It's more of an ambiguous nexus of metaphysical realities. That's an awfully specific description. Has she been here before? No, but I've tasted places like it in my dreams. Tipo ser cego, mas sei lá, na sua percepção única pode saber que existem diferenças nos tons da luz que não vê, só brisei. Uma vez, Matheus, eu ouvi dizer que pessoas que nasceram cegas, ao contrário de pessoas que se tornaram cegas mais tarde, as que nasceram cegas, elas sonham em preto e branco. Elas não têm noção de cor. As que se tornaram cegas, elas têm a capacidade de sonhar em cores, porque dependendo de quando elas perderam a visão. Eu já ouvi falar disso, eu não sei se isso é verdade. Mas assim, já ouvi falar disso há muito tempo. Great, even more shenanigans. You look around and try to get your bearings, but nothing seems to be in focus. It's all too low resolution, simultaneously too bright and too dark to make sense of. Fábula favorita, Pica-Pau, porque ele tem todas as fábulas. Como eu disse, eu gosto da fábula da raposa e da cegonha. Acho que é isso. Ou pelicano, sei lá. Porque é assim. Tem a raposa e tem a cegonha. A cegonha tem um bico fino e largo, né? E a raposa, ela tem um focinho curto e por aí vai. Aí uma convida a outra pra ir na casa. Tipo, amiga, vamos comer aqui em casa, vamos jantar. Só que a cegonha, ela toma coisa num negócio assim, ó. Que ela pode enfiar o bico lá dentro e ela toma a sopa. E aí a raposa não consegue, né? Tipo, enfiar o bico lá, porque o bico dela não é coisado. Ela tem que, tipo... E a cegonha vai na casa da raposa e a raposa tem um pires pra ela tomar alguma sopa, sei lá, alguma coisa lá. Eu não sei porque que eu só lembro de sopa agora. Acho que é porque o frio me dá vontade de tomar sopa. Enfim, o que acontece... A moral da história é que, tipo, você tem que ver o lado da outra pessoa. Porque a cegonha não consegue tomar a sopa do pires, mas a raposa também não consegue tomar a sopa do jarro. Então você tem que chegar no meio termo pra sua visita. Tem que ser um bom host. Esqueci a palavra em português pra isso. Ai, meu Deus. Me sinto a Luciana Gimenez agora. Ai, pensei em inglês, desculpa. A raposa e as uvas é aquele que ela fica desdenhando das uvas porque elas estão muito altas e ela não consegue subir pra pegar? Esse aí, essa raposa e as uvas, apareceu como um easter egg na Butterfly Soup, eu lembro. Era um dos deveres de casa da Min, se não me engano. Eu não lembro qual que é a lição do raposa e a uva. Você lembra qual que era a lição? Eu só lembro que a raposa não conseguia chegar em cima lá pra pegar a uva. E daí ela ficou tipo, ai, não queria mesmo, a uva tá passada, tá sei lá o quê. Ficou inventando desculpinho só porque ela não conseguia pegar a uva. You okay over there, cherry cheeks? Your blood smells really loud right now. You wouldn't know how to react to that even if you weren't having a memory-induced thought seizure. The pieces are too far apart and you can't quite put it together. But you remember. Friends. Bits of memory hit you. Sudden flashes of joy, of violence. Smiling faces. Crying faces. Bodies. Plans. Hope that the world could be made into a better place. What the fuck are mumbling about? If you've fried your think pen, at least let me in on it so I can participate. You tell her what you can remember, which isn't much. Friends, sadness, dissatisfaction. A lição era, é fácil ter desprezo sobre o que não consegue... Ah, entendi. Muito boa lição. People who were deeply unhappy with the state of Alternia and faced violence from all sides, just as your new friends do today. Some of them wanted to change it from the inside, and you remember believing that they could. Eu tinha pego Ad. Ah, obrigado por tancar Ad. But you get the sense that a lot of time has passed between now and then, and it doesn't seem like Alternia has gotten much better. In fact, it may have gotten worse. It seems like whatever it was your friends tried to do, they failed. Of course they did. What does she mean by that? Even in the context of your nonsense time-traveling amnesia cover story, it's not hard to believe. Compelling idiots have good ideas all the time. That doesn't change the fact that they're idiots. Which is why I'm going to succeed where everyone else had their entrails ripped out by a swarm of drones and died like the scrubs they were. I am many things, cherry chicks. O lobo mau que investiga um assassinato, a Branca de Neve tem uma irmã do nada. Oi? Ah, eu acho que eu sei do que você tá falando, é que eu não vi esse filme. An idiot isn't one of them. She flashes a bright and pointed smile, filled with a confidence that you believe with every atom in your body. But you're pretty sure she's not the first person to make you feel that way. Idiots or not, the friends you used to have were just as sure of themselves then and as she is now. Você jogou essa história? Ah, tá! Cuidado com a desatenta. Eu achei que você tava falando daquele filme do Chapeuzinho lá que é mó louco. Eu não sei por que eu não lembrei imediatamente do Wolf Among Us. Wolf Among Us. Por que eu tô falando tudo em inglês esquisito? Enfim. Agora que eu percebi que uma mão dela tá assim e a outra mão dela tá assim. Um jeito estranho de pegar uma coisa. And what good did it do? Honestly, you doubt that intelligence or competence has much to do with it at all. You think about the drones you barely avoided at Karkat's hive, and your brief exposure to what this planet calls a criminal justice system. For as violent and unjust as things could be on Earth, at least there was some pretext that the system existed to serve the people. Here, it's just murder. You aren't sure that's a system that anyone can salvage. Animação 3D. Eu não sei qual que é esse outro que você tá dizendo. Her smile melts into a frown and... You really should ask what this troll's name is. Huh. Therese Pyrope. Therese doesn't sound particularly happy as she slumps against a debatably extant wall and slides down into a crouch. Her face is a mask of barely contained emotion. Deve estar girando um machado fazendo... Não é um machado, é uma espada. I can tell why Karkat would like you. You're very depressing. You chuckle and sit down a respectable distance away from her. You definitely don't mean to be depressing, but you have a knack for digging up drama. The hazards of forgiving new friendships, you guess. Forging new friendships. If Riska saw us right now, she'd derisively laugh herself into an aneurysm. Therese knows Riska? Oh, she does. Oh, how she does. That's one way to put it. We were practically sisters before she broke the rules and ruined everything. Her stupid bitch. How do you know her? Oh. You know, you played some flarp, killed some kids, felt guilty about it, threw Vriska's mom into a volcano. Wow, you really have gotten around. What's a mom? Caradela. You'd think that was just about the saddest thing you ever heard get said if you didn't already know what a lusus was. You killed her lusus? So she's... That explains why she's been messaging me. Ha! Ha 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 ha! Therese is laughing, but it doesn't sound like any laughter you've ever heard. I can't fucking believe it! Circuit figures her shit out just in time for me to have my own identity crisis? And I bet she thinks everything's supposed to be fine between us now just cause... Want to know a secret, cherry cheeks? Might as well add another one to the pile, you say. I have no idea what I'm doing. I never have. And now, I don't think I ever will. Well, that's bleak. You guess you're sorry? It's not your fault. You haven't told anything I didn't already know. Her lips are trembling as she reaches behind her and pulls out a box of chalk and then removes a red piece. You think this is a weird time for artistic expression, but... Oh, she's eating it. Therese offers you a piece. You don't want to be rude, but you also really don't want to eat chalk. She shrugs and crunches on it like unshelled lobster. You guys, you have to make that in stride. The more important thing is that Therese is inconsolably sad, which sucks cause you're the only person in a position to console her. I'm going to give her a hug, cause that's what I'm doing now. You don't know how to fix this. You don't know how to make Therese feel better. The best you can think to do is put your arms around her. Despite the fact that you're a complete stranger who basically just kidnapped her, she welcomes the embrace. I hated her for what she did. Not to me, but to our friends. All but went to war over it. After our truce, we cut ties. My hope was that she would avoid hunting anyone else. But deep down I knew I would have to kill her eventually. In the name of justice. Yeah. She did terrible things, but so did I. We did some of them together. Why wasn't I culpable? Why did I blame her for something we did to each other? You think it's regrettably natural to blame the person in front of you when you get hurt, especially when the real problem is too big and esoteric to stab through the chest with a sword cane. Vriska did what she did because she had to. So did I. We both deserved the revenge we wrought on each other. But we were all victims of the big picture. It made us what we are, ensured we would do what we did. Every little injustice started there. And when we fight, whoever painted that picture smiles and laughs. Because they know they've already won. She sits up a little straighter, and you feel your spine follow suit almost on its own. Fuck that. Therese slips out of your arms and stands up, pulling you to your feet with her. Her entire demeanor has changed. She's practically vibrating with determination. Take me to Vriska's hive. I'm assuming that's a thing you can do. Oh, yeah, that's a thing you can do. Your mind is still buzzing, but talking to Therese has calmed that storm just enough for you to focus. As you take her hand, you spare a last look around this bizarre, impossible space. You still feel watched. But it's distant now. Maybe even approving. You have so many questions, but those will have to wait. Right now, you've got work to do. Oh my. Zap. Sim, a minha franja tá ganhando vida própria, é verdade, eu concordo. Ela também. Before you even see where you've landed, Terezi marches up to a very surprised Vriska and backs her up against the wall. Oh my, is this cabedon? She stops just a few feet away, looking up at the cerulean spider girl with anger on her face. Despite their difference in stature, Vriska is intimidated. Então, a Vriska é muito mais alta que a Terezi. Ainda mais nessa versão da Terezi. Tem algumas teorias de fãs que dizem que a Vriska é trans, é uma mulher trans. Eu nunca levei isso muito a sério, mas eu não tenho certeza. Tem alguns indícios que podem tá a favor disso ser verdade, mas até lá eu não acho que o Andrew Hussey tenha pensado tão a fundo sobre isso, mas enfim. Despite their difference in stature, Vriska is intimidated. You caught her off guard, and Terezi is unflinching. Se for, não muda nada. Pegar igual. Ela é de menor, calma. The room is completely silent. You see Terezi clenching her fists. She looks one wrong move away from unleashing hell. This isn't quite what you had in mind when you brought her here, and you really hope your new friends aren't about to fight each other. Something in the air changes. You aren't entirely sure what's happening, but something is definitely happening, and you figure it's best to just cross your arms and pretend you don't exist. Terezi's posture softens. Her hands relax as she breathes a soft sigh. Vriska straightens up, letting her own tension dissipate. You guess you're feeling a little less tense yourself? When Vriska cracks a hesitant smile, Terezi leans back. She's sniffing the air intensely, which feels like a good sign. Everyone's getting a little looser, a little more casual, definitely an improvement. Then they both start cackling, slapping their knees like they've just heard the most hilarious knock-knock joke in history. You'd sure like to get in on the joke too, but you figure it would probably be rude to ask. Elas não falaram uma palavra, mas elas se entenderam. And then they hug. You're not exactly sure what's happened, but you figure hugging is a powerful platonic friend activity even though in the worst of times. It's gotten you this far after all. Yeah, that's all this is, just two gal pals hugging it out. It's so sweet you could cry. But I won't. Apesar dos massacres e atos hediondos são todos... When they separate, Terezi meanders over to a window overlooking the pit where Vriska's losers used to live. So she's dead. Oh yeah, I'm real broken up about it too. Vriska winks at you. No, you're not. No, I'm not. Terezi turns and leans up against the windowsill. Windowsill. I don't know. You have a lot to make up for. That's why I've been messaging you. I want to apologize, okay? I don't want your apology, Vriska. I have a lot to make up for too. There's definitely some kind of something going on in this room that you're completely oblivious to. You wonder what went down between these girls that they can't even talk about what they're talking about. What do you mean? There's so much injustice in the world. Every drop of delicious, innocent, and painfully extracted blood on this planet is just paint for the fishy fucks up top to play with. And the worst part is that we're complicit. We revel in it, even. I reveled in it. Terezi, are you... They could never make this violence good, so they had to make it fun. And I had so much fun hurting people. Who knows how long I would have gone on like that if it hadn't been for our weird invasive species of friend here. Terezi wipes a tear from her cheek and smiles at you. And you feel a huge wave of relief. Friends! With a former murder lawyer in training. You sure know how to pick 'em. For once, Vriska, I want to revel in something good. I want them to feel the razor edge of their own justice. I want their blood to stain the dirt beneath my feet like the pathetic wiggling insects they are. But I can't do it alone. I don't want to do it alone. You watch as Terezi takes an unmeasured breath. For just a moment, you can imagine her standing in a room full of determined people, just behind the person everyone else would call leader, smiling a wicked smile. She's not the one who commands the stage, you think. She's the one who controls the spotlight. She's the one who knows what happens next. I'm not sure what we are together anymore, Vriska. I've hated you. I've felt a lot of things. What I know is that we're dangerous, and fate seems determined to make us rivals. That almost sounds fun, doesn't it? We could fight for the rest of our lives if we wanted to. Each the scourge of the other until one or both of us winds up dead. They'd tell stories about us for a long time. But I don't want that to happen anymore. Do you? No. You haven't known Vriska very long, but this is a side of her you've never seen. You doubt many people have. It's actually really awkward. You should probably go, but your prying curiosity and desire for interpersonal closure keep you glued to the spot. Não, a fofoca começou, a gente tem que ir até o fim da fofoca. Eu não vou suportar uma fofoca incompleta. We had the right idea in the wrong circumstances. But this time, I think we can really do something together. So, let's try this again. Vriska, will you be my scourge sister? Yeah, obviously. Good. Then let's get to fucking work. They share a look that you can't quite read, but you get the feeling that this was a resounding success. Yeah, that's the best course of action. Scourge sisters, unite! That was cute. That was very cute. They're gonna murder someone. That was cute, nonetheless. Okay, so where do we go from now? I think this is... Yeah, I'm gonna give her a distraction this time. You heave out a mournful sigh. Alternia's a meat grinder fine-tuned to pulverize anyone who tries to gum up the works. Maybe there's something to be done, but you don't think either of you are going to be the ones to do it. Yeah, why bother, right? Fofoca em inglês, Cecil. É gossip, meu amigo. Gossip. XOXO, gossip girl. She's probably doing just fine without me anyway. When you look over at her, you see she's doing her very best to hide her tears. That's no good. You may be lost in the cynical ennui of political burnout, but it doesn't mean you can just sit by and watch your new Paul descend into abject disarray. What you two need is a distraction. What you need is a clown. You grab Terezi's hand and think the happiest, hunkiest thoughts you can muster, and just like that, zap! You're right there in the living room of your dear friend Gemzy. That was the worst choice ever. They are not good for each other. I'm gonna go crazy. What a sight for sore eyes in this jovial cut-up of a drug-addled juggalo. Yeah, we've met the clown once again. That was not part of my plan. I'm fucked. What a fucking motherfucker! With comical slowness, he dive bombs away from you over his couch and into a pile of horns. A chaotic honk cacophony sends Gamzee into a chorus of screams. You elbow Terezi. Smell that? How can she possibly think about the crushing impossibility of making the world a better place when this fella's over here acting such a fool? Her frown is unwavering as Gamzee clambers back up to his feet. That was a righteous motherfucking miracle what you just gone all up and did in front of me. Get me scared onkwise right into the horn pile, my brother. It's a real good thing I'm tripping the pie clown-tastic right now, otherwise my pump biscuit might have flipped turnways hard enough to make me all violent on a motherfucker. His smile is nothing if not cordially unhinged. Hey Gams, Terezi? Well, fuck me all situationally up. What it do, my sister? It do too much. Shit, man, that's some bad news to hear. Now that I'm looking all up at you motherfuckers, you seem pretty hellaciously burdened, like in the soul what we have. You agree that you do have souls, all of you, probably. And that's the answer he was looking for, right? If I have a soul, it's a tar-tasting slime stuck on the bottom of a ground pusher covering. You mean a shoe? Whatever. Well, I don't know what you two hoes have scribbled down on your planners for tonight, but if it's the world that what has you worry-eyed, methinks maybe you should be getting to have your think pants all up in some pie pen mans. My mans. Ok, that was hard to read. Terezi no original se chama 13. Oh, porra. That's not a bad idea. What better distraction from the dystopic nightmare of Alternia than the warm, comforting embrace of hallucinogenic drugs? Drugs are not the solution, you dickhead. Terezi seems momentarily unsure, like some sensible part of her is desperately begging her to do literally anything else because she has juízo. Fuck it. She doesn't have juízo anymore. She plops down on the couch with determination, sinking into it like a sack of disillusioned potatoes. That is directly the noise that I like to hear. Gamzee slithers down next to her and puts an arm over Terezi's shoulder. Oh god. I have the ick right now. I have the intense ick. She tenses up, but doesn't push him away. Oh my god, this is gonna go... I don't like where this is going. What about you, Miracle Tempter? Do you want to be getting all in with this? He pats the seat next to him with a delightful grin. You think you feel the same tug of reason Terezi felt, but you'll be damned if you pretend to have more sense than a lawyer. Oh god. Besides, you're having a hard time imagining anywhere you'd rather be than in the arms of a fragrant clown. He puts his arm around your shoulders as you sit and try to make yourself comfortable. Now, ain't this just the coziest motherfucking snuggle sash there ever was? You see Terezi sniff at an open, half-empty Faygo bottle before taking a big swig. Pass me some of that wicked elixir, my sister. Gamzee takes his own demure sip, gargling as he sucks from the bottle. By the time he passes it to you, you're pretty sure it's more backwash than Faygo. Which is still more Faygo than none, you guess. It is, without a doubt, the most vile combination of taste and viscosity you have ever put into your body. But hey, at least now you're not thinking about politics. As you toss the empty bottle to the ground, already lost in a stupefied haze, you glance over at your new pal, Terezi. She doesn't look happy, but at least she doesn't look sad. Go accomplished, you guess. Wasted. Yeah, one thing to know about Gamzee and Terezi, that does not work. They are very bad for each other. Especially Gamzee. He's the worst for her. I do not like him with her at all. It's not my ship. Not ever. I don't like Gamzee. I don't like the clown. So, we just, we ended this route. We ended Terezi's route, every one of them. Because we have this route. And we have, the best route, which is this one. Yeah. And then we have the worst of all. I don't know why this game likes to kill Terezi so much in different ways. Like, it only killed her once, but, you know, be friends with Gamzee is a death for sure. The seeds of revolution. You reunite Terezi with her long-lost sister. You've never been more glad you're not a fish. Yeah. Oh, the next one is Stavros. Oh my. Yeah, this is gonna be super fantastic. Yeah, the very bad one. So, what I'm gonna do now is... Normally, I would close the live stream right after that. But today... I want to be different. I want to continue to read another route of another troll. In this case, we're gonna read Tavros' route. And then, yeah, we'll be happy as after. We'll be happy as ever. I don't know how the expression goes. So, Aradia, I think, has more gameplay, if I remember correctly. She has this right here to prove that. I don't know if that proves anything. I'm just guessing. Middle class wins, damn it. Yeah. So, what we're gonna do, we're gonna read Tavros' route now, and next week, if we're lucky, we're gonna read Aradia's route. And maybe we can read Nepeta's route next week too, but I will not guarantee this to you, because Aradia seems to be larger. So, let's begin Tavros' route. Shall we? Where were we? Okay, we were here. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Oh my god! We finished volume 7, route 2, and the first line too. Now we're here in the volume 8, route 1. Glimmering gold and cold iron. Yeah, let's go. Let me just see something here. Okay. You're enjoying a brisk, clearing walk in the Alternian moonlight when the plot comes screaming toward you. Literally. You don't even have time for introspection. Ah! Oh my. You turn your head to see a guy in a wheelchair whizzing down a nearby hill. He's got a phone in one hand, making it difficult for him to control his descent with the other. You quickly rush over in time to see him hit a rock and go flying through the air with an impressive arc. You bring the falling wheelchair over to him. He stares at you for a second and then pulls himself back into it with a grunt. Thank you, weird and ugly alien stranger. Once he's settled into the chair, you look over the boy you just helped. He's lanky and scrawny, except for his oversized horns, giving the impression of a boy going through a very awkward puberty. His wheelchair is simple and flimsy, and it looks like it's gone through a lot of wear and tear. Oh, introductorily speaking, I should say that my name is Tavros. Tavros, as is how now usual for you. The name sounds familiar, even though you're not sure any of your other friends mentioned him by name. You give him a proper greeting and then ask what happened, and he nods toward an old watchtower at the top of the hill. I was attempting to scale toward the tower to acquire a rare Fidispan Go monster, what is named Wovu Pine. It's ranked Ether Mythic Triple Rare Class, which is one of the rarest of all, at least concerning monsters that can be found in lower blood neighborhoods. But it appears to be tragically out of my reach, no matter how much I believe in my ability to pursue it. You don't know what a Fidispan is, but maybe you could help? You've wrangled a few monsters in your time. What? You know, you could help push him up the hill. Maybe fight some giant, horrifying beast. The usual. Wow, I normally am expected to do everything myself, always. The only trolls who offer me help are those who live too far away to actually do anything of consequence. Which is fine, I get it, but it's pretty useless to me. Anyway, no. What? I don't want your help, on account of if I take it, I will be weakening myself and failing to grow as a troll. Eu acho que eu não vou conseguir continuar lendo com essa voz. Mas finjam que eu estou lendo com essa voz, viu? I will just have to try again and get grievously hurt in the process, probably. Don't worry. Tavros begins to wheel back toward the hill. You know how this story goes. You'll have to spend your entire evening convincing this poor troll boy that it's okay to accept help from others. You launch into a gentle pitch about how help from a friend can... well, if you say so, then I accept your help. Oh, that was easy. You follow Tavros up the hill. When he reaches the steepest part and his wheels begin to lose traction, you step in behind him to give him the little push he needs. The two of you are successful in scaling the hill, and Tavros grins and taps at his phone. Oh, it's a phone game? No real monsters involved? Holy shit, this is new to you. Yes, Wolvopine is now acquired. Thank you so greatly. Ah, ele tá jogando Pokémon Go. Maybe the cartoons for Wigglers were right all along. And friendship is truly the greatest source of power to exist. Finally, someone who gets you. You ask if he wants a quick ride home. And he tilts his head in confusion. I already have a ride, always. I'm sitting in it. Not like that. You tell him it's hard to explain. Just trust you on this one. Okay, let's go. With that, you grip his chair and focus your energy and zap on over to his hive. Whoa, are you magic? Yes. Awesome. Do you know any fairies? No. Shucks. Tavros glances around the room and you follow suit. Your eyes settle on an advertisement for the theatrical run of Pupa Pen. A pinch of special stardust is all it takes to fly. Brought to you by Her Imperious Condescension's 19th favorite theater company, reserved seating for highbloods. Hecklers will be called. The rest of the room is rather plain and sparsely decorated. The floor is scattered with messy gaming supplies. So, this is my hive. What do you think? Could you characterize this pad as sufficiently cool? You glance at a framed picture of a fey trickster in booty shorts. A fey. Sure, yeah, this pad is cool as hell. Excellent, I hoped you would. Your approval is most good to have. I thought you might be uninterested on account of me being boring and kind of sad. Oh, boring and sad kids are your favorite, you tell Tavros. Wait, that sounds terrible. Ignore that. You mean you relish the opportunity to make people less sad. Oh, don't worry then, because I'm definitely sorrowful enough to satisfy. What am I reading here? Also, I'm not great at talking either, so we have at least 1 point of failure in common. Thanks. Tavros flashes you a thumbs up and a wink. He wheels closer to you, and one of his scattered cards crunches under a thread and gets stuck, necessitating a bit of finagling. Finagling? I don't know. Finagling? You must admit, you're a little surprised by the wheelchair. Your experiences on Alternia would suggest that their culture is not very kind to the disabled. Oh, it very isn't. There's a long story behind the fact of me being like this. Kanaya says not to talk about it because it hurts my self-esteem. Oh, okay. That's fine. You turn your attention to some of his cards. Perhaps he can teach you... Well, if you insist, I will reveal to you my tragic backstory. I used to be more of a hardcore gamer who would do the extreme role plays. And I had a friend, or I thought she was my friend, who I did flarp with. Oh, you're familiar with flarp. You're a boy, Skylark. Come to think of it, you've got a great flarp friend who he might love to meet. But no. Well, I don't play anymore. Because this old friend of mine did a bad thing to me, resulting in a chain of revenge that was very tragical. Essentially, the story is that I was thrown off a cliff, physically, and became heavily injured, which resulted in my legs not working. Oh god, that sounds terrible. That's rough, buddy. The culprit continues to hassle me sometimes, in ways which are supposedly remorseful, but mostly continue to make me feel bad. For instance, trying to make me learn how to climb stairs, or fight better, or telling me I'm useless and awful because I can't. Although she also sent me this 4-wheel device, which helps me to not be cold. So that's nice, I guess. Although maybe she wouldn't have done that if Kanaya didn't say so. Didn't say to. I don't know, she's hard to understand. Sometimes very nice, and other times extremely not nice. And I can't figure out how she truly feels about me. Wow, this girl Tavros is talking about seems like a real piece of work. You sure are glad none of your friends are anything like that. Yeah, but maybe it's best not to think about her. Actually, Kanaya was right. Why don't I teach you how to play... Tavros! Tavros freezes up instinctively. Oh no, that's her. The one who injured me. Oh no, your spine ice is over. You recognize the telltale exaggerated call. O jeito como ela falou foi tipo, Tavros! But how can this be? How could your dear, sweet, precious friend Vriska have done such a horrible thing? Distracts. Maybe she did do one thing wrong. Oh my god, my back hurts. Excuse me a little. Ai meu Deus, o que eu perdi? Tá liberado meter o louco, chat vindo. Que isso? Não. Não tá liberado a revolução. Você... Ei, você para com isso. Não, para, chega. Oxi. As minhas costas estavam doendo pra caralho. Eu tive que fazer crack. Eu consegui fazer de um lado, do outro não foi. Estarei esperando esse crack numa boa hora. But why? This isn't like the other kids she killed. You know Vriska is violent and volatile. She had to be to survive. But to harass Tavros after the fact instead of just feeding him to her losers? It doesn't make sense. You feel sick to your stomach. Hey, Tavros! You haven't been answering my messages. We need to talk. Her voice comes from outside the window as it moves around the perimeter of the house. You glance at Tavra's stricken face as you hear the sound of keys jiggling in a lock. Fuck, she has the keys to his hive? Ugh. Tavros groans and leans back in his chair. Vriska barges into the respite block and then freezes up. Oh, hey. Hey, you say with an awkward wave. Vriska seems uncomfortable. Oh, she's uncomfortable. I didn't know you knew this dork. It's a friendship in progress. Tavros has told you some things about their past together. Of course he has. Okay, listen. I know it sounds bad, because it is, and I get that, okay? Way back when, it was less than a sweep ago, I was part of a FLARP campaign that went way off the rails and Tavros ended up getting thrown off a cliff. It was basically my fault. But that's all in the past now. Things are better now. I hooked Tavros up with this sweet wheelchair and everything. It's not that sweet. Shut up, Tavros. I'm talking about how terrible I feel about hurting you. Tavros cringes, and you try to intercede on his behalf. Why is Vriska here? Oh, right. I'm here to extend an olive branch. Very magnanimously so, if you ask me. Terezi and I are getting the band back together. Not for FLARP, obviously. That ship has sailed. But we're going to whip this planet into shape, and we need all the help we can get. You've spent enough time moping around uselessly. It's time for some action. You're in, right? No. What do you mean, no? I mean, I don't really want to do anything exciting or dangerous like that. And especially because you're going to be involved, I don't think it would be good for me to also be. Oh, come on. Things are totally square between us, Tavros. We all got hurt. Besides, I'm just trying to help you live up to your potential. You could be somebody. You could finally start living up to your legacy. I don't want to be somebody. At least not your kind of somebody. Tough luck, Toreador. None of us get that choice. If nothing changes by the time your rites of maturation roll around, you're screwed. The drones will kill you in an instant. Vriska turns to you. Her eyes are wide, her fist trembling. Her frustrated glare barely conceals the desperation beneath. I mean, you agree with me, right? Tavros needs to shape up. He needs us. It's time we put the past behind us and moved on. I'm just trying to help him. She leans closer. It's obvious she wants you to back her up. That's rough. Don't take a side. Side with Tavros. Side with Vriska. Vriska is wrong. But I'm gonna take her side just to wrap this up very quickly. I hope. You can't resist her force of personality. When Vriska speaks, it just sounds right. You tell Tavros that he should accept Vriska's offer. Hell yeah! See, Tavros? My buddy here agrees. Let bygones be bygones. Tavros shrinks into his chair, small and sad. The two of you just stare at him as the awkward silence swirls like mist around you. Vriska clenches her fist and steps forward, but you quickly put a hand on her shoulder and she pauses. Ugh. Being around here is depressing and someone doesn't want my help anyway. Whatever. Come on, just I've had enough of ball for one night. Let's go chill out somewhere less boring. Só agora que eu percebi que o nome que ela me chamou ali é o nome que eu pus por último quando eu fiz a roda dela. Por isso que ela me chamou de Blasters. Like, I don't know, an arcade? Maybe a movie theater? Haha, what do people without a losers to take care of even do? You suggest to Vriska that you can find out. Together. She beams. Okay. Bye, I guess. Tavros seems conflicted, as though he can't decide whether to be relieved but that Vriska is leaving or upset that you're abandoning him. You don't really care, though. You're going to an arcade. Friendship +8. Grub invaders. Yeah, that was not ideal, you know? But, yeah. Choices. Am I right? I'm gonna side with Tavros. You take a step closer to Tavros and Vriska visibly deflates. Come on, Hazras. You can't seriously be on his side. Yes, you can be. And you are. You think you understand now. You see how Vriska took her suffering and bitterness and passed it along. You see how, under beastly tutelage, she learned to sink her fangs into her prey and tell herself she was doing it for their own good. She's like Regina George. In these two, you see a microcosm of Eternia, of hurt kids hurting kids, until finally the buck stops at the kindest or weakest among them. So, no matter how much sympathy you have for her, you can't stand idly by and let Vriska continue this cycle of hurt. You tell Vriska to look at Tavros, really look at him, and ask herself if her help has done anything for him. Isn't this the kind of suffering that she and Terezi want to prevent? Right now, the best thing she can do for Tavros is to leave him alone. Leave him alone? You don't get it. None of you do. If I leave him alone, he's toast. Seriously, how have you not figured that out by now? You've seen what this planet is like. You think we can just flip a switch and fix everything overnight? He's a worthless loser living in a world that has losers, that hates losers. And if that doesn't change, he's going to die a sad, pathetic death. And you and Kanaya and everyone else, you're just enabling him. When he croaks, it's going to be on your head, not mine. So, if you'd rather hang out with Tavros in his make-believe fairyland, be my guest. But some of us are still going to be living here in the real world. You and Vriska spend a while staring at one another. All you can muster is a look of pity, which only seems to incense her further. Her face scrunches up and then goes steely and flat. Her voice is icily calm. You two have your fun. I'm out. Vriska slams the door shut as she leaves. Tavros exhales a long sigh of relief. Well, that went pretty well for an encounter with Vriska, all things considered. I only feel somewhat terrible about who I am. Slowly, gently, you place a comforting hand on Tavra's shoulder and tell him that he deserves better than this. It's not his fault. Vriska is difficult. Yeah, Kanaya says that too. I sometimes almost believe her when she does. The room is silent, except for a faint wriggling noise come from some of the balls on Tavra's floor. You don't know what else to say. Would you, enjoy playing some fiddle spawn with me, perhaps? As a manner of distraction? Oh, fuck yes, you tell him. Let's spawn some fidu? Fiduses? Yeah. Your FLARP experience inured you to Alternian game design. So, you're only mildly nauseated when Tavros shows you how the physical version of fiddle spawn works. Chitinous purple critters explode from gooey orbs and infest plushies before bursting out in the form of large monsters with more limbs than you're comfortable with. Also, you have a handful of cards which boost their attributes or allow you to interfere with your opponent's monsters. There's a lot to keep track of here. Before too long, the room is full with chittering purple monstrosities and quasi-looking host blushes on the verge of birthing even more abominations. You are so lost. But you think you're winning? Your creatures appear to be doing a better job of preying on his host blushes and spawning more of themselves. You've got a meter in the corner that keeps going up, while his goes down. That's good, right? You think it's good, at least where victory is concerned. But you are more concerned with the dejected look on Tavros' face. He doesn't seem to be giving the game his all. You ask him if he's doing okay. No. Oh, okay. He just came out and said it. My fun has been stymied, I think, by my thoughts about Vriska. He wheels himself over to the window and looks despondently out. I used to like Vriska a lot, you know, and admire her for her many qualities that were good, such as being very confident or having skill at games. But now, I just hate her, or feel like I should hate her, but instead do not feel those feelings. In their place, I feel very conflicted and bad about myself, and wonder if there is something wrong that I can't feel as angry as I should. Or make myself to become strong enough to talk to her properly about my feelings. It's just a big mess. You glance again at the posters lining Tavros' walls. Sprightly fairy girls with confident smiles, long messy hair, and blue color schemes. The resemblance to Vriska is uncanny, but superficial. She's never going to be like the girl from his posters. That's just not who Vriska is. Pobre tá confusaça. Oi? But for a sad, hurt boy who likes to dream, she must seem so painfully close. This is a problem too big for you to untangle right now. You need to redirect Tavros' thoughts. You close your eyes and ask your intuition. What should you do? Help him fly or stay grounded? I'm gonna say stay grounded on this one. From the darkness, You reach into your muddled memories and catch a glint of cold iron. When you open your eyes, Pupa Pen stares back at you. He would have you believe that faith is all it takes to fly. But you think Tavros could use something a little more material. Ele escrevendo sentimentos, né? You put a gentle hand on his shoulder and ask him what you can do to help him spread his wings. His metaphorical wings, that is. It's not like he could ever sprout real ones. The very thought is absurd. Tavros sighs. I just wish I could live more independently, I guess. To take charge of my life and become less under Briscus's thumb. You think Tavros could use some better friends. Real friends. I do have some. Nepeta is very kind to me often. Gamzee and I like to throw down sick rhymes. And Kanaya tries to help with Vriska. But there's not a lot they can do when we live far away. And as nice as my Lucius is, he is unable to help me with all my issues. Due to his small size, limiting him to only moving and carrying small objects to me when I require them. The simple fact is that I didn't build my hive with the expectation of one day using a four-wheeled device to navigate it. Can Tavros move to a better hive? Could you help him with that? No. As a bronze, the stipend I receive is not enough to cover such things. Even this four-wheeled device, which is highly basic compared to some high-blood models, would have cost me over a wipe's worth of savings. Few changes are available to me, economically speaking, especially if I want to not alert drones to my unsuitedness for throw expectations. You see, if money is the issue, that's not something you can help him with, at least not directly. But you might know others who can. You tell Tavros that you're going to step out for a moment to fetch a mutual friend. He seems briefly surprised when you return with Kanaya. You guess you don't blame him. This strikes you as a pretty rare pairing, conversationally speaking. You tell me. Oh, Kanaya, it's nice to see you in person unexpectedly. Well, my hive is terrible looking, sorry, but hi. You look nice. Yes, I do. How are you faring? Has my advice regarding the construction of an imaginary friend helped aid your self-esteem? Well, I haven't really got to try it yet, so no, it hasn't, I guess. Kanaya suppresses a sigh. Okay. Well, let's get directly to business. I've brought some materials with which to renovate your hive. Oh. Please advise us to how best to redesign the place to suit your needs. Tavros' eyes water up and he sniffs, leaning forward in his chair. Really, you would do that for me, despite it taking a large portion of time and effort, and presumably money as well? I don't really spend my stipend on much besides fabric. And I intend to twist Vriska's arm until she offers a portion of her flarping treasure to foot the bills to. And of course, I'd do it for you. Any less would be a rejection of my helpful sensibilities. Kanaya says it with a neutral tone and a straight face, as if there's nothing remarkable about it. But Tavros nevertheless breaks into a grin. Wow, thanks. Okay, give me some time to develop ideas on how to properly jack this hive up and deliver the most utterly dope and pimped up changes. This is going to be so great. You give Tavros the requested time, and then begins to work in earnest. You weren't sure what to expect, but the construction process proved smoother than anticipated. Kanaya brings a set of alien devices which she claims to have borrowed from a sea-dwelling friend of hers. One converts raw materials into a strange substance that reminds you of fruit gushers. Kanaya fells trees with her chainsaw and feeds them into the machine, and before long you have a trove of the gusher things. The other device expands the gushers to modify buildings. It has a holographic click and drag interface much like The Sims played in real life. You find this construction software to be incredibly handy and also eerily familiar, but honestly you find everything eerily familiar these days. Yes, it's very convenient. Home construction has been an important part of troll culture for as long as history remembers. Fato interessante, agora que falou de The Sims eu lembrei. Ontem eu fechei a live e fui jogar The Sims. Mas eu joguei assim sem usar cheat code nem nada, eu tava tão cansada que eu só queria pegar uma família que já existia e jogar. Resultado. Eu fiquei vivendo a vida normalmente, como se eu estivesse vivendo a vida pra valer. E é muito chato você ter que ficar trabalhando toda hora e pagar a conta e blá blá blá. Eu vou ter que jogar usando cheat, cara, o The Sims, porque não tem como, senão fica muito chato. Você fica deprimida de tanto que você tem que ir no trabalho. Toda vez que eu quero fazer alguma coisa pro boneco ficar de boa, não, tem que ir pro trabalho. Nossa, é muito foda. É como se fosse uma crítica, não é mesmo? Ao sistema em que vivemos, não é mesmo? Uma crítica de tantos milhões de anos atrás, porque esse jogo já é velho, não é mesmo? Eu tô falando do The Sims 1, pra quem não sabe, que eu instalei ele de volta no computador. Most do not know why, although to me the reason is obvious. Preparation for the game, which we will now no longer be playing due to outside interference. Preciso de cheat na vida também. Quem não, né? Bora criar um ouro sem ser preso. Sem ser preso. Wait, she knows about that? Yes. I figured out what was going on a day or two after you visited me, but I thought it prudent not to get particularly dramatic about it all. That was very thoughtful of her. Yeah, I try. Kanaya finishes feeding logs into the first device and begins to manipulate Tavra's hive with the other. Together, you are a clockwork team. Tavros provides directions, Kanaya implements them with her stellar sense of design, and you provide moral support by standing around looking cute. Okay, yes. Nudge that shelf over to the left, yeah, like that. Wait, actually, right. Further, okay. No, go back. A bit more, that's almost good. Now make it a little tad higher. Não sou cheat, mas sou cheat. Que isso, Matheus? Suave. Yes, no, lower. There, right there. And, eu tô shippando, viu? Eu vou shippar, eu vou chamar vocês de Marica. É o melhor nome de chip que vocês podem ter. Yes, perfect, I think. Okay, actually, can you go back to where it first was? In the end, it takes until the next day to finish construction, which is actually great time. You were expecting to have to zap forward once or twice for the sake of narrative brevity, but with the Alternian build tools, Tavros' hive is swiftly renovated. Que gracinha, tá tudo arrumadinho. It is far more spacious than it once was, with ramps and rails aplenty. Under Tavros' guidance, you widened hallways, lowered counters, Revamped bathrooms. It's like a brand new house. You don't have a ribbon to cut in celebration, so Tara summons some bizarre fetus spawn creature to shoot confetti all around the entrance to the hive. It's all gross and sticky, and you hate every second of it, but he's having fun. After that, Tavros spends a while just exploring the hive. He wheels himself through each block, awed by the ease with which he can navigate the space. By the time he returns to his respite block, his grin is radiant. You take it he likes the new place. Oh, yes, this pad is now genuinely frigid. It makes me feel more confident, like the world is my evolved jewel container. Like I could say to Vriska, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, bitch. Okay, I won't say that probably, but I could. Actually, maybe I will say that, as well as plenty of other deliriously rude things which long I have avoided saying. Okay, that's probably enough, you tell him. Kanaya is staring icily at him, but he doesn't seem to notice. You suggest that it's a good time to settle down. The sun is going to be rising pretty soon. Tell her that you bitch her up. Right. While we still have some moonlight, would you like to stay for a while, Kanaya, and play some games with us? Oh no, that's quite alright. I'm afraid I have duties to attend to at home. I left a dress in the oven. Kanaya blinks and carefully maintains her poise. It's made out of clay, you see? I'm getting experimental. Oh, that makes sense. Well, goodbye. She smiles at Tavros and shoots you a pointed glance. You take it as your cue to place a hand on her shoulder, concentrate on her hive, and send her back in a flash of light. Once she's gone, Tavros wheels up to you and nudges you in the hip. So, regarding Kanaya, this could perhaps be me misreading the situation, but when I reach deep inside and tap into the marvelous power of the self-esteems, it tells me that I'm very right and smart. Did you see the way that she was smiling at me? Oh no. Almost in a way to suggest amorous inclinations. Oh no. He waggles his eyebrows furiously in your direction. Oh jeez. You tell Tavros that's just what friendship looks like. She's not his type. Trust me, you say. Drat. But oh well, I think there's a saying about this, that the sea has many fish in it. Now that I am feeling better, I think perhaps I will one day go fishing for a quadrant or two. Well, it's a start. It's going to take some time for this kid to figure out what genuine self-esteem is like. But just like the perspicuous clouds part to reveal a brilliant sky and blue, you think Tavros is on the verge of seeing the sun. The moon. This metaphor would work better on Earth. Tavros can be more than he is, and he doesn't need to change to do it. When he offers you a smile, there's a spark of compassion behind it that tells you he's already worth the world. All he ever needed was someone to believe in him. And money. He also needed money. So, would you like to perhaps celebratorily play a round or two of fiddle spawn with me? I am feeling much more prepared to enjoy a game and perhaps think that this time I will proceed to crush you with my incredible might as a fiddle spawn breeder. Except, I mean that in a nice way. Like that of a friendly challenge. If you'll accept. The word friend in that sentence was all you needed to hear. Victory! Oh, that was nice. Wait, is that a spider? Oh god. So, we did some stuff. We did this. And we did this, and now we're gonna do this. From the darkness, you reach into your muddled. Oh my. Não, foi final bom. Foi final bom. Pro Tavros, pelo menos. From the darkness, you reach into your muddled memories and catch a glint of glimmering gold. When you open your eyes, Papa Pen stares back at you. Unlike him, you don't have special stardust, but you think you might have something better. You tell Tavros you'll be right back, sort of. The now familiar Prospician spires greet you. You swoop through the shiny architecture until you find those towers that seem to house the dreaming children. Sure enough, Tavros' dream self can be found in one tower nestled comfortably in a Recupericune. You poke him on the cheek. No response. You give him a little shake. Nothing. With a sigh, you rear back your hand and slap him hard. Tavros remains asleep. He's practically comatose. Why? This feels so off. Karkat is awake, and Tavros isn't, and something about that is just wrong. It's all wrong. How can you help Tavros under these circumstances? O que foi essa parada que acabou de acontecer? Eu não consegui ler o texto. Tavros yawns as he rises blarily from his slumber and squints around. He crawls out of the Recupericune and reaches over to the ramp beside it with an instinctual motion. His hand finds no wheelchair and he tumbles over, and then quickly rises. He realizes with a start that he is floating in mid-air. Whoa, what? Surprise! You inform Tavros that this is the mystical world of dreams that is part of the game he was supposed to play one day, but now isn't going to. Maybe? Probably? You'll be honest, you still don't know exactly how this works. But you do know that this is a land where he can fly. That seems highly improbable that such a world would exist. Or, especially that I would be allowed to enter it and fly freely around with no repercussions. It just seems like a thing that would never eventually happen to me, does it not? But it is happening, you tell him. You prove it by pinching his arm. He flinches. Why did you just assault me? It's a thing. Pinching is... Okay. This is a cultural misunderstanding, but the fact that he can feel pain should prove that this place is real, or at least as real as a magic dream world can be. I see, my arm does certainly hurt in a realistic manner, as well as my feelings due to the uncalled for attack from a friendly individual. Oh, for fuck's sake, you tell Tavros to stop worrying about that and start unworrying about how he can fly now. Oh, yeah. With unsteady movements, Tavros begins to circle his dream room. He holds his hand out as he sails around, floating upwards and then dipping down. He seems to get the hang of it quickly. And as he does, his face cracks into a warm smile. Oh, woo! Oh, this feels really amazing! At your invitation, Tavros follows you out the window and sees Prospect stretching toward him. His eyes go all starry. Can I really explore all of this area? He can, you tell him. Probably. Just don't go barging into anyone's houses. Hell, okay. Tavros does loops and twirls, pirouettes around spires, and weaves through throngs of perspicuous civilians. He hoots and hollers, the anxious crescendo in his voice nearly absent. The sound echoes among the golden towers and rebounds back at you, a cacophony of childlike exhilaration. You swoop alongside him, buoyed by his excitement, and the two of you begin to race each other around the planet. You run out of energy before Tavros does, but eventually he comes down from his high. He floats lazily beside you, upside down, his mohawk hanging down onto his face. His eyes are locked on the sky and clouds, and he is wearing a wide, if oddly blank, grin. Hey, I want to thank you for doing this to me, allowing me to feel this freedom and joy. It really means a lot. You grin and give him a thumbs up. You're glad you could help. Yeah, me too. You glance up at the clouds. How long have you been out here? You figure it's probably time to head back to the real world. You tell him you'll teleport back and then wake him up. What? No, no. Don't wake me up, please. I don't want to go back to that life, when I could spend my days here, forever feeling blissful and happy for once. You pause. That's not the response you were expecting, although you suppose you should have seen this coming. What about his friends? His responsibilities in the waking world? What happens when the drones come knocking? Well, those are some pertinent questions which I don't care about, though. Vídeo de terror do zóio. What? Se você não tá entendendo, muito menos eu. This is where I am happy and where I belong. That's what you wanted, right? To help me be happy. Right. Then your work here is done. He smiles back at you. And you feel like you should smile back. But there's a hint of sadness behind his eyes that gives you pause. It's like he's waiting for you to take charge and tell him off for choosing escapism. Waiting for you to make the hard decision he doesn't have the guts to make. But that's not the kind of person you are. If he'd rather spend most of his time asleep, that's good enough for you. Given the planet he lives on, you can't blame him. So, you give him a little wave and vanish into the ether of canon. By the time he works up the nerve to say something, you're already gone. Caralho, esse final foi o mais... Esse final foi dark. Ele vai dormir pra sempre, caralho. Foi esquisito aquele glitch lá, né? Deixa eu fazer ele de novo. Foi muito esquisito. Foi o especial de Natal de Black Mirror lá do Star Trek. Foi igualzinho. Ah lá. Caralho. Bom, eu fiz esse e as ramificações, então agora só falta esse, que eu saiba. Esquisito aquele bleach, deixa eu fazer de novo, queríamos ouvir isso no mangaka. Caralho, é verdade, né? Acontece isso no Bleach também. Bleach tem umas lutas muito boas. Who do you think you are? A centrist? This is a choice-driven narrative game, and that obviously means having to choose between two equally unsatisfying mutually incompatible options, which will forever alienate you from the side you did not pick. Try again. Ah, entendi. She leans closer. It's obvious she wants you to back her up. É isso, pessoal. Nós fizemos a rota da Therese e do Tavros hoje. A heart so true. You stood by Tavros' side and helped renovate his hive. You still don't understand Fidus Pond, though. That's okay. So, yeah. Here we are in the future, and it's bright. O que vocês acharam? Gostaram de fazer 2 rotas? Eu achei interessante, ainda mais que eram 2 rotas pequenas, entre aspas. A do Tavros foi menor que a da Therese, com certeza. Tudo bem, se eu tivesse deixado pra fazer semana que vem, teria tido a introdução da live, a conversinha e tal, essas paradas todas. Aí acho que teria ficado com o mesmo tempo da live da Therese, mais ou menos. Mas eu ainda acho que a rota do Tavros foi menos coisa pra ler. Ainda bem, porque minha garganta agradece. Agora a gente tá no volume 8, rota 2. It is pronounced Aradia. E esse aqui vai ficar pra semana que vem. Na quarta-feira, se der tudo certo. A próxima quarta vai ser que dia? A próxima quarta já é dia 3 de abril. Quem diria? Quem diria que março tá acabando, hein? Então é isso, pessoal. Amanhã de noite, às 7 horas, a gente se vê por um Undertalezinho. Eu vou continuar me empenhando pra sair da parte da Undyne, porque tá difícil. Mas tem que sair alguma hora, né? Eu espero que fique tudo bem. Bebam água, se cuidem. Abraço aí pra todos vocês. Obrigada pela companhia mais uma vez e sempre. Vou ficando por aqui, tá? E tchauzinho pra vocês. Até. Fui! Juízo.